Jim Hoft joins me now, the Gateway Pundit. That's who it's referring to, though the Gateway Pundit is more than just Jim Hoft. In fact, I'm in the middle of a 2-week trial period right now. Some of my clips from the show have been going on there. And Jim's joining me now, and we're going to talk first about President Trump kind of sticking it to Mitch McConnell today. Jim, thank you for joining me.
Hi, Adam. Good to be with you.
Now, Josh Kaplan just put up an article on this, and we're going to talk about what's going on. Is this a power struggle that you see, or just, on the surface stuff? What's your take on it?
Well, I think Mitch McConnell put his foot in his mouth yesterday. He spoke to the Rotary Club in Kentucky and said that Donald Trump, had excessive expectations of the Republican Senate. And that was just unrealistic, that Donald Trump would believe that the Republicans could repeal and replace Obamacare and also have tax cuts in 1 year. I think most Americans, probably 95 or 97%, would disagree with Mitch McConnell. It's unbelievable to me that this has not been repealed. This was something that every single Republican that I know of ran to repeal Obamacare. It's been a complete disaster. There was a report out today that 6.5 million Americans chose to pay the penalty rather than take up these costly plans where you have to put down a deductible of like $3,000 to $5,000 or larger before you even get the care. So several people, 6.5 million working class Americans, chose to pay the penalty. It's a complete disaster, and these Republicans I think several people had it right after this failed vote in the Senate. They said, these people are liars. We just can't trust them. And this should have been done weeks ago.
And how ironic is it that McConnell made that very poorly worded comment while the Senate is on vacation, after really doing nothing, after controlling both chambers of Congress and the presidency. I mean, it's just, it's one thing for a Democrat.
It's stunning. And not only is he on vacation this week, but they promised, another broken promise, they were going to stay in session for a couple extra weeks. Well, that got kicked out the door. And they went on vacation last week. I call it a vacation. They like to say it's a working break.
Right.
But, give me a break. This is, it's just unbelievable what's happening to this president. It really is him against the swamp. And Mitch McConnell, I've seen a couple of people call for him to step down, and I am with them 100%. He has done nothing. Well, and it's very disappointing.
What is the state? I mean, first of all, he's really one of the ones we can't stand. It's his mannerisms. There's a certain sort of, I don't know, maybe it's Mid-South smugness to him that, I guess someone else would just be a phony who would talk the talk. But there's just something kind of very country club about him that rubs people like me the wrong way. Paul Ryan has the same thing to a certain extent, but I think it's not what is on the surface with Paul Ryan. It's when you know about him. I don't think on the surface with Paul Ryan really bothers people so much, but there's just something about McConnell. It's just so smug and country club, I guess.
And it's a man who's supposed to be leading the most deliberative body in the world.
Right.
And he's just failing. He has no charisma.
No.
He's not able to get these Republicans on something like Obamacare. It really makes you see that there's a lot of these Republicans that need to be replaced. And unfortunately, if this continues for another year, they're going to be replaced by Democrats instead of Republicans. And then and we all know then the country's in real bad shape.
Yeah, it's almost as if it's being engineered this way. I mean, the pattern is so obvious. The Republican, a lot of these guys are going to get primaried. Then there's going to be a lot of bitterness, which will be just enough to put the Democrats over the top in certain places, certainly like Nevada and even places like Kentucky, which vote overwhelmingly Republican for the presidency. And then it'll be blamed on Trump. That's the way I see things going.
Right.
Scary as it is.
I don't think the people are going to fall for that, though. It's interesting. The media, too, it's very typical of their behavior at this point. They're saying that Donald Trump is losing all of his support. And, he's very unpopular. He's we've never seen a president so unpopular. They do this with every Republican who comes in office. They hated George Bush. I was blogging back then when George Bush was president, and the reports on him were just, I mean, they were just scandalous. And the difference between him and Trump, though, is that with George Bush, he never fought back, not once.
Right.
And therefore, we had super majorities in Democrats, and we had Obama in the White House. And Trump, we see he fights back, and the media hate him even more because he does that.
Yep. Well, the media has to do the dirty work because the Congress, I mean, as much as we bash the Republicans, it's not like the Democrats have their act together in Washington either.